Hi. How's it going? Hello. Happy birthday! You want a Pop-Tart? Oh wait, what'd I do? That's garbage. Birthday Pop-Tart. Yep.
What? Yeah, it's only hot. Usually when you figure it out, that regular duos is bought to trio. I mean, we don't do it. Quicksand. Oh yeah, arena because it's real. It's like a competitive. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I can't. Like creative. Now one year playing creative. I can't do it. I'll play. The only thing I'll play is creative. I found a new meta already. It's added quicksand to the game. The whole sand part is quicksand. I ain't look at that. I don't even know. All I did was look at the battle pass. That's enough. Oh, you can just sit in this quicksand. You can just. It's basically like a card, but a new version of the quicksand. You can just like. Is it faster? Yes. It's so clutch. That one year creative. Totally recommend it. I remember when creative first came out. I hopped in that game and started smacking people off. Right? They ain't giving nobody no chance.
Wasn't it your dad's birthday yesterday?
It was my dad's birthday.
Wasn't your dad the one that lost his finger?
Yes, he is.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
You said like when you were born, he didn't have his finger.
Yeah, he lost it. I think my sister was a baby when he got
I
it.
remember you said like you never had a father with 10 fingers.
I never have. No, it's true. Yeah, he said his church was like his whole church kind of laughed a couple weeks ago because one of the mics wasn't on, and he was like looking up at the guys in the sound booth, and they were like, "What number is that mic?" And he said 4, and like he just does that without thinking about it now. 4.
Did he used to like go like 4, but like it was one of the fingers was like gone, so it looked like 3?
No, I think he's just gotten used to it, like not having it.
When did
So
he lose his finger?
I think probably
Movie, right?
like moving, yeah, a couple of years before I was born. I think my sister was alive, so
You had a sister.
yeah. She's 2 years older than me.
You said older?
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
So what, pain?
You're in pain?
Nothing.
Oh my goodness. Why?
They call it gauntlet in paintball.
Oh.
Basically, shooting a turkey. You know, they might took you across the screen. You shoot a turkey.
I just realized my volume was all the way down. Sorry.
Morning.
Morning. Nate's here in person. We're still missing a couple, but we'll give them a minute. Also, I'm gonna get this turned on.
Yeah, no, you should let me know because I ain't nothing to do with it. I'm about to go soon. I'm thinking about the
Hi.
He's dead anyway, so like usual. I am the best I can make. Like literally the best. Right? So I tried to turn it in. It was like I was so confused.
About turning it in?
Yes, because I Well, I never finished the test.
We're gonna have time today. There should be like at the top of your dock, there should be a submit button. We're missing a few people that we usually have.
I ain't thinking because I've got my ID. Everything you need is in the back of the sheet, but you know I'm slow, so I ain't reading.
I'm a little surprised
It's a 8 though.
at a couple of people that were missing.
Spilling all the chips.
I have spilled all the chips several times.
I still want to play Scrabble. I'm gonna play Scrabble today because I'm not playing basketball today again. I'm not sure.
Too cold.
No.
You threw a spider out of there. We don't have Christian.
What are we doing today?
We're gonna go through some notes first. That shouldn't take too long, and then I'll give everybody time to finish their test if they didn't. It's too cold. What?
It's so cold. It's so cold.
Oh, yeah. I had to scrape my windshield this morning.
Someone scraped your windshield?
No, I had to like scrape frost off of it, which I didn't realize. I would have dressed more warmly if I had known it was gonna be this cold.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I did. When I walked out the house, I did fall on that ice. I did. Yeah. That's why I had to smack my head on that.
Oh no!
It hurt. You know, it's what it is.
We don't have Chip today. Chip's always here.
Just because I failed. She almost said yeah, look.
Did she?
She was like, no, yeah.
Okay, so we're missing Chip, which is rare, and Christian, which is also pretty rare. Huh. Well, all right. I don't know if they finished their tests or not. All right, so I'm going to display it up here so that you guys can see it, but I will share my screen with everyone else. Oh my God, I hate this thing so much. Oh. Also, fair warning, I might be super unprofessional and answer the phone if it rings.
Long sleeve to school. The first time. I never wear long sleeve.
I'm waiting on a call from my doctor, so it's important. And if she calls, I'm gonna answer. Okay. Yeah.
It's a hot take, but blueberry puffers overrated.
Overrated?
Yep.
Blueberries is one of my favorites, although that one's whole grain, so I don't know if whole grain Pop-Tarts are as good.
I learned that Pop-Tarts in the freezer, it's way different.
Really?
Bro,
I've never tried it.
But I promise you, from now on, if you buy Pop-Tarts, open the box and put them all in the freezer.
Okay.
I promise you it hits different when you put them in the freezer.
I'm gonna try that.
Huh?
I'm definitely gonna try.
You seen that PC that they put inside a basketball for that play? That's a
Okay. We're going to go through these notes. We're going to do it fairly quickly because I want to make sure that anybody who has not finished their test has time to. And if you didn't submit it yesterday, make sure that you get it submitted. This is a pretty short presentation, but just kind of like getting us prepared for what we're gonna do for the rest of this week. Let me, wait a minute, sorry. I can't minimize things when it's in presentation mode. You go away. Okay, so we're moving into the 17th century, And the big thing that we're going to look at here is metaphysical poetry, which when you guys were in English 1, if you had English 1 with me, then this may ring a vague bell because we did look at it then, but it's been a while and I didn't teach everybody in English 1. So, oh my gosh, let me move this. No. Sorry. I need this to go away. Okay, so what's going on in the world in England is that there's a lot of civil unrest. There's kind of this weakening of the tie between the monarchy and the lower class. So it's very much like a class war. But then there's also a clash between the king and parliament, which if your monarch is fighting your body of government, that's not great. I kind of feel like we've been familiar with that in a way. And then there was the outburst of the English Revolution. So obviously this is like a turbulent time. Sometimes this was called the Puritan Revolution, which can be sort of confusing because Puritans are American people, like pilgrims, and the English didn't really have Puritans, not in the same way that we did, but they have a lot of similar like ideals. So thrift, like not spending your money lavishly, sobriety, not indulging in alcohol or anything like that, hard work, unceasing labor. This is not like a super fun ethos that they have, but they thought that worldly pleasures were harmful. They thought that like if you relied too much on like worldly pleasures like money and food and drink and old time partying, that you are more likely to go to hell. Those things are sinful. So the literature of the Revolution period, before this, there had been a spirit of unity and patriotism, and that is not happening anymore. So a lot of the literature is concerned with the social upheavals of the time. So we're going to look specifically at metaphysical poets, and this is a group of 17th century poets whose work involves these things that you see here: intellectual and theological concepts. So this is pretty like highbrow stuff. It's not just like simple love poetry. We are going to look at 2 poems that are sort of love poems, but it's not like roses are red, violets are blue, you know. There are some very surprising metaphors, like things that you wouldn't expect to be compared to each other, and a lot of strange paradoxes, things that sound contradictory but have a lot of truth to them, and far-fetched imagery. So the poem that we're going to look at today and tomorrow definitely involves pretty much all of that. Once we get through with the notes, I'm going to publish 2 poems, and if you finish your test already, you can read those poems. We're going to talk about them more in depth tomorrow. And fair warning, they might be kind of hard to understand. You might read it and be like, I don't know what I just read, and that's okay, because we'll walk through them tomorrow more intently. Metaphysics, since they're called metaphysical poets, that refers to the philosophy of knowledge and existence. So like metaphysical is like more than just the physical. We're talking about pretty highbrow, like vague, spiritual, esoteric stuff. There are a lot of elaborate, formal, and unusual metaphors. There's usually, this is really interesting, and I really like metaphysical poetry just because it like pairs things together that you just wouldn't ever expect. So usually there's a concrete item that represents like a bigger universal concept or is used to illuminate that concept. And what I mean by that is like you could have a poem that on the surface is about like an apple, but that apple could somehow be used to stand for loneliness or something like that. I just made that up. That's not a real poem. But you know, you have this like vague concept like loneliness, but you reflect it through a really tangible item. I feel like that's really hard to do. So I always think that it's really interesting and cool when poets are able to do that. There's this like surprising connection between two things that don't seem connected at all. They tend to have simple conversational diction, like written in the pattern of everyday speech. But having said that, 17th century everyday speech is a little bit different than our everyday speech. So it might still be kind of hard to read and hard to grasp. But like I said, we'll walk through it tomorrow. I think that really that was just meant to kind of show that these poets are trying to appeal to the lower class. They're not just writing for like recognition or for the upper class or aristocracy. They tend to have easy words for their time, but difficult concepts to grasp. And they also tend to involve a lot of philosophical themes. So when people started writing metaphysical poetry, there was definitely like a mixed reaction. You have the upper class who are really educated, you have the lower class who are not educated at all, but then you have the middle class that, you know, is working, and they're kind of between these two extremes. And middle class, like working folk, didn't really necessarily embrace these like abstract thoughts. They kind of thought that this was very pretentious, and maybe it is. So they didn't really like it, and they admired the upper class more than they admired the poets. So the two examples here, and we're going to look at them more in depth tomorrow, but they're both poems by John Donne, and the first one is actually my second or third favorite poem in the world. But I mean, if you look at that, if they be two, it's kind of hard without the context, but compasses, they're talking about like not north, south, east, west kind of compass, but the like math compass that draws a circle. And this guy's comparing his soul and the soul of his wife to like the two parts of a compass. So that's really strange and like not a thing you would think of. Like when I think about love, I definitely don't think about math. It's just me. And then the flea, or no, sorry, a fever. Okay, I'm doing the wrong one. But that's okay. Like I said, we're going to look at them more tomorrow, so I'm not going to focus too much on it now. Okay, so those are all the notes, and those are published on Canvas already. I'm also going to go ahead and publish these two John Donne poems. And if you have already finished your test, then you can just read those, and that's all you need to worry about for today. If you have not finished your test, you need to finish your test now. And those of you who are virtual, I want you to stay on the call until you have finished. If you were not here yesterday and didn't start the test, then you don't need to worry too much about getting it done today. I'll still accept it from you tomorrow. But that's what you need to worry about. Anybody virtual have any questions? Okay, so you know what you need to do. If you're virtual and you want to leave the call and you're already done with your test, then you can do that. And otherwise just stay on until the last part. I was just saying that if you're done with your test and have submitted that already, if I have it from you, then you can leave the call and read those poems individually. And if you have not finished your test, then you need to stay on the call until you're done. But that's it. I'm gonna unplug. No, I didn't end it because I want them to stay if they haven't finished the thing. Okay, I gotta figure out. Let's see. Eli, have you tried to share it with me? Okay. Why don't you, sometimes when I just click the share button, it doesn't automatically share with people. I would try to like go into, I don't know if you tend to do email through the app or through a browser, but it works better for me usually if I do it in the browser and then share it through that. And if nothing else, it's not ideal, but you could potentially like take screenshots and send those to me.
I'm gonna be honest, before yesterday, I did not know we were having
Christian, I was just sitting here talking to you and not realizing that I was on mute. I don't know if you finished your test yesterday, but you need to go finish your test now if you didn't. Before you got here, I went over some new notes that I've already posted on Canvas. If you want to go back later, like after class, and go to the YouTube page and watch the Zoom of this where I explain the notes, then you can do that. But the notes are on Canvas. If you haven't finished your test, then I want you to stay on the call until you get it finished. But other than that, you can go ahead and read the 2 poems that I posted, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. sorry, for 20 kids to get sick.
And like